Hey there, blade fans and blade aficionados. Yes, I believe you are. You wouldn't be watching my channel. You guys know what you're talking about when it comes to blades, and I hope to give you a little more info on some new stuff that just came out from, shake the camera, that always helps, Kubey. And Kubey's doing some interesting stuff. We've got one here, and I don't think that the label tells you much. Actually, it's on the sleeve, so no worries. Nice, solid box from Kubey. Let's start there. They ain't cheaping out on their boxes. They're pretty premium for a knife that's running about 60 bucks. I mean, most of their 14C stuff is very reasonable, and the designs are unusual lately. With this one coming from Muzi Knife Designs, that's M-U-Z-I. There's a very nice microfiber cloth. I use a bunch of these, a little heavier than most. And here in the box, and that's just the normal Kubey warranty stuff and whatnot, is this guy, which was originally, they named it the Roger Recurve. And then that changed to a Rogue Pikal Karambit. Karambit because of the ring, and Pikal because of this blade. Crazy stuff. Got this high hooked blade with the edge on the inside. If you're not familiar with it, we hold the knife this way. It is mainly a tactical, defensive sort of knife for those that may practice the Elvia system at Calderon or Filipino martial arts, Pikal or Pakal, jabbing forward and ripping like an animal claw. And it carries small, but it is highly effective in the right hands, I might add. You need to do a little training with this. You need to get used to where that point is. And easy, like with the Karambit, to stick yourself because you're not aware of where that point is sometimes. Really meant to be held with the finger through the ring. First thing I noticed as a criticism, and I did buy these on my own. They weren't supplied by Kubey. I got this one in one other color from White Mountain Knives, where you can get 10% off. There's my pitch. If you use OG-Blade for your discount code, 10%. And if you buy a bunch of stuff, 10% can amount to a pretty good amount. So it's a liner lock. It's a switchable clip. We can move it to the left side. The way this clip comes set up, it goes in the right pocket. And there are 3 opening methods. Crazy, almost too many. We got a flipper tab. We've got a thumb disc. And best of all, we have a wave opener, borrowing that term from Emerson Knives, or pocket opener if you want to call it. And that is a removable one. You don't have to have that. In some jurisdictions, it could be illegal to have a pocket opener. Who knows? But that catches on your pocket as you pull it out. And I knock things over. Let me set something back up. Let you gander at that for a minute while I fix my lighting. There we go. There we go. Okay. Getting less and less room on this little tabletop here. Might have to expand. So it is from 14C28N. It is a Muzi design, not too familiar, except Muzi designed a Karambit, which I'll show you in a little bit, that's almost the mirror image of this, with the edge on the other side. Actually, the handle just curves the other direction. But there's your 3 opening methods. So flipper tab, pocket opener, and thumb disc. And one criticism I was getting into is that the handle's a bit long. I have a medium-large hand. I shouldn't have this space here. Ideally, I'd like to snuggle into that area, and you can do that if you don't use the ring, except it feels a little tight. But I would actually prefer that because it raises the point a little too. I find some people designing karambits don't really have an understanding of karambits. And ideally, you want the point when you move forward to enter in this way. Notice how low that sets the handle. So if we put the finger through the ring, and you shouldn't ever put your finger through a karambit or otherwise ring all the way up to the first knuckle. It should be on the middle knuckle, right about there. So notice in this position, we've got a slight downward point there. So it's great for coming down, but you're going to hit the back of the blade coming in. And that's something I pointed out on many a karambit. There's probably only one or two that meet the correct requirements. Okay, as far as the rest of the knife goes, it's a folded over, not deep carry pocket clip because you need access to the ring. It is switchable. G10 for the handle scales. Looks pretty good. Comes in a whole bunch, like 6, 7 different colors with a black blade and different color handles. I've got one with a red handle and the black blade. Didn't intend on getting that, but that's what they sent to me, sort of by mistake, but it's interesting. We've got a scoop here that can fit, let's see, can fit your thumb like that. We've got lots of jimping here. And you can hold it in a more or less traditional method and do this cutting inward sort of thing. I think Craig Douglas, and I'm sure somebody will remind me of his style of fighting and so forth. He's a former DEA agent that developed a knife technique that uses the edge that way for ripping in close encounters and wrestling and on the ground and that kind of thing. You could use it this way and cut up, and it could be utilitarian, except we've got a very fine point that might over pierce. When you're trying to do stuff like open packages, you got to be really careful. Anyway, dimensions. Finally got to dimensions after all that guessing. 7 3/4 ballpark. And I'm just going to say it's a 2.91 inch blade because that's Kubey measurement. You see it falls just a little short of 3 there. And let's see, millimeters. Okay, we got millimeters, so let's get the thickness. Not real thick, but that's good. It gives you a very slicey sort of a blade. 3 millimeters is 0.12 inches. And the handle, flat handle, even all the way through, 0.52, just a little over ½ an inch. That ain't bad. And is there weight relieving on the inside? Yes, there is. $60 knife and weight relieving. They're doing great. There it is. There's your holes. Okay, so they have lightened it, and we're getting to the weight. I know you're waiting for the weight. Ha, ha, ha. It's bad joke day. What can I tell you? 4.5 ounces. 4.52 exactly. Okay. So there is the black and I guess stonewash. No, not stonewashed. Yeah, it's sort of a stonewash. There's the black stonewash. And here, shield your eyes, is the red and black. You might like this. And they also do it all blacked out. And we could do a blacked out by switching the handle scales with these two guys. That would make this one all blacked out and make that one red and natural finish stonewashed. Here's something interesting, if I can find it. I know I put it out here somewhere, didn't I? Yeah, I'm going to have to pause to look for it. It was hiding because it was all black. There's the Karambit, also designed by Muzi. And also 14C. Yeah, it's 14C. Tiny billboarding in here. If we take the red one out for now, I know you're crying because I removed the one you like. If we do this, actually this way, you can see how the handles are mirror opposites almost. Although we've got a different handle profile on the Karambit, on the Pikal than we do on the Karambit. The Karambit's got finger grooves. Here we have two large finger grooves, but they're both set up very similarly. So here we have your Karambit, which is used in outward motions, and I find the handle to be better on this one. And let's see. It's just a smidge longer. Smidge, that's an old timer's word, smidge, okay? For you millennials and whom not, whomever. I like the fit of this a little bit better. And that is a fairly forward-facing point on that Karambit. I think they did a pretty good job on this. Also a liner lock. And also set up in the same way, where we've got the pocket opener here. Pretty good detent there. We've got the flipper, which you have to come way over the top to open. Not the easiest way to open this. And there is an opening hole, which you can middle finger flick. Yeah, there we go. So you can middle finger flick that guy. But very interesting. Pikal being opposite Karambit, both with curved blades, with different deployment and tactical technique. Let's bring out, as an example, a knife with a ring that is a fixed blade. And this is the Anomaly, designed by Doug Marcaida and Bastian Cove of Bastinelli Knives. Now that one, you may not be able to see it till I put it in my hand. It's got a little better orientation on the blade. It still hooks down, but it's a little shorter. But it does have a ring, hence the name Anomaly. And this is kind of an anomaly too, because normally on Pikal knives, you don't see a ring. And many of the Libre fighters in the Ed Calderon system do not like a ring because they feel that your finger can be trapped if the knife is somehow disarmed from you. And deglove your hand, meaning rip the skin off or break a finger. Depends. It really depends. There's mixed opinions on that. Here is a beautiful knife. The reverse edge, it's a Pinkerton, and it is made, forget who the OEM is on this guy, but it is called the, I thought of it just as I was logging off there, pausing the video. It's the Inversion. And there was an original one with G10 scales. This is the high-end one. The reason I brought this out for an example is the ring on this one is removable. First of all, you don't have to have it. You can completely take it off. And it is sticking out at 90 degrees rather than being on the end. And what does that do? Gives us a much better alignment for that forward thrust and then rip with the tip. Okay, so rather than that pointing down and pushing the knife forward and engaging the very back of the tip, you have a much better chance here. And this blade shape was kind of taken from Dirk's Smilodon, but he designed this. This is being offered. I think they're out for now, but they're going to be restocking. Blade on this one is from, I think, yeah, S35VN, so a premium steel. It is a frame lock, but the key here is the great comfort of that handle. And you see how I've got just enough room. Even if you had fairly wide hands, I think you'd fit on this knife. You'd have to have really giant meat hooks to not fit on that knife, but it's certainly possible. And then if you took the ring off, you could reposition your hand a little differently. You're not confined to one place. And also, ideally, this is a knife designed by Ryan Atkinson for a company called MF Blade Works. Sorry about that. And it's called the Vandal. This is your ideal point for Pikal, where most of us who use this style knife feel it belongs. Dead ahead. It's going straight in. And Ryan and some of his pals practice on hog or pig carcasses. And it teaches them what works and what doesn't work, and what your hand's going to come off of prematurely and what is not. This is a double edger. It's a custom knife, CNC'd, I believe. I think it's like Turner or one of those companies turns it out for that company, and MF Blade Works. And the guy that runs that is a really fine guy. And if you can find one of these, they don't run the batches too often. This is really ideal. This one's got the Shore Touch G10 and rubber composite on the handle. Won't get too into other knives here because we're talking about the Kubey. So once again, in talking about the Kubey, for a $60 knife, if you like the Pikal style, I believe you can adapt to it. The handle, as I said, a little long, but if you got a real big hand, it should fit you perfectly. Orientation could be better because I don't like that point down. It's great when you're coming down, but the motion of an arm going forward first and then coming down means you really want to present that tip. You don't want your first motion to come down. That gets into knife use and tactics, and I won't get into that at the moment, but let's put both models out here. I got these from White Mountain Knives, and you can get yours there too. I don't think they're going too fast. It's kind of an unusual beast, but I'll leave you links, and don't forget my discount code. I'll also leave you the discount code in the description. Be well, take care, and oh, sharpness test. Yeah, this guy's nuts. It is extremely sharp, in case you wanted to know. And the point, forget about it. That's why be careful if you get one of these or the Karambit. So that 14C blade, quite nice, quite nice. Not perfect, but pretty nice. There you go. Now we'll end it. Click that logo right there if you haven't subscribed yet, and that'll bring you to my subscription link. Be well, take care, and hey, like this video. I worked on it.